I'm joined by Varun and DJ. We have a full house today because this is the first episode since the completion of what felt like a 4 month long IPL 2025. But DJ, I know you were excited because after 18 long years of watching the IPL, although we are not RCB fans, Virat Kohli finally got to lift an IPL trophy. How crazy is that? I mean, we never thought it would happen, right? To be honest, this was it. This was the last trophy in his cabinet. This was it. How are you feeling?
Yeah, pleased for the king. I think he said he didn't think it was ever going to happen, right? So at least we were on the same page there. But I mean, fantastic tournament for the RCB team. Redemption for King Kohli, redemption for a lot of the RCB fans. Finally, they could say, East Ala Cup Namdu, which the women had already said
They
last
said
year.
that once, yeah, on the women's side.
Yeah, so congratulations to them. The only thing I think on this podcast, what we should remember, guys, is it was the 18th year and Virat Kohli's jersey number is 18. So luckily for us, Akshar Patel's jersey number is 20. So we wait another 2 years.
So you're saying it's not even 2026? It's not even going to
It's going to
happen.
be 27.
All right, Varun, let's talk about it. Like when you saw those scenes last year with him and Rohit in the T20 World Cup final against South Africa, and like the emotion. Then this was kind of a weird one where Hazelwood was bowling to Shashak, and it four with 4 or 5 balls left, it became mathematically impossible. And the moment that happened, you saw him like almost immediately tears start to fill up Virat's eye. Like it walk me through that kind of those kind of last moments and how somehow this was not about Rajat Patidar or Josh Hazelwood or anybody else. This was about the one man who has played for the same franchise for 18 years. Like, talk me through that kind of last over emotion for you.
Yeah, the only man who has played for the same franchise for 18 years. It's like RCB equals Virat Kohli.
Yeah.
Like some of these guys may not even have even been born when Virat Kohli started playing for RCB, like Webb of Suryavanshi, right? That's how
Yeah, he was
long
born quite a lot after after
exactly like
Virat
four
started playing.
years later.
Yeah.
That's how long he has been waiting for this trophy. I think the scary thing is they have lost in situations like that before, and I think that we spoke about it in the last episode or last episode. We talked about DNA, and we talked about Punjab versus RCB is going to come down to the DNA of who can hold their nerve. And yes, it's a new team, but you can't help but feeling that it's until it's mathematically ruled out that a win is possible, right? So I think when, just before the mathematical equation kicked in, you saw he looked to his right on the boundary and his friend was standing there, AB de Villiers, and they
AB.
both kind of did a fist bump. And I think the ball after that is when it became clear that RCB has now won this, barring any weird no balls. And so I just think it takes over that emotion, right? Because in the morning of, you're dreaming about what will I do when we win, but as the game progresses, remember on a belter of a surface, 191 or something they hit. It's
190, a
not
little
enough.
short, right? Yeah.
Every expert said they are 15 to 20 short. So yeah, man. I mean, we'll walk through the celebrations and all, but it was just a great feeling because the thing about sport is like you could play an entire career being number one and not having won a trophy, right? And Kohli has won three in the last 12 months. So just think about it. If Kohli had just retired 12 months earlier, he would have
Yeah.
retired without a trophy. But it feels magical.
Yeah, it was designed. It almost like is the perfect story, right? Like at this point, this was it. This was what he needed. This was what was missing. Varun, before we go into the details of the game, you specifically mentioned 190, a little bit short. Talk to me a little bit about the player of the match and the role that he played. Like has has
IPL
had
goat.
some
The
ups and
IPL
downs.
GOAT.
And I had to bring him up quickly.
I
Go.
was mocked for this.
I
Four
mean,
trophies.
you should still be mocked for it.
There's a whole Cricket Info article about how he's a GOAT now.
I
Are you
mean,
serious? Ghostwriting for Sid Manga? Was that you who wrote that article?
Krunal Pandya, man, he just turned the game. Like, talk about a big match player. And I think he's the only guy who has got two man of the matches in IPL finals. So he's done this before.
Incredible.
And he made a statement after saying, I told my brother that there's going to be 9 trophies in 11 years, something. And I went crazy doing the math. Like, I actually pulled out Google and my calculator, and I was like, how does this math work? But apparently it checks out, right? So they have 9 trophies. Krunal Pandya, man, he just turned the game. He just understood the pitch, slowed it down, bowled the right lengths, and that was the match winning performance for me. Like in my head, I was betting that this is going to be Bhuvi. Like it's going to be the Bhuvi show, and he's going to be the man of the match. But Krunal Pandya, I just did not expect that. He turned the season around when they beat Delhi, and
With the
he did
bat
it
that time, right?
in the
Yeah.
bat, and then he turned it around in the finals where he did it with the ball. And that's the thing about all rounders. When they like a good all rounder is priceless. We've known this for a long time, and yeah, he's been second fiddle to his brother for a long time. But on the night, he showed up.
He really did. All right, let's quickly run through what happened in the playoff stages. I'm only going to spend time on the last two games. It feels, with this the pace of how the cricket calendar goes, the final was 4 or 5 days ago, 5 days ago at the time of recording this, but it feels like it's already been months. We've already seen a Karun Nair double century and a Rahul century and Jurel making runs and all of these things. But let's just talk through it, right? So remember, Punjab and RCB were 1 and 2. Very disappointing sort of first qualifier from the Punjab team, where they got made 101 and RCB finished it in 10 overs. So RCB jumped straight to the final. Punjab knew they would have to play again, but that's the thing with coming first and second. You get a second shot. Mumbai thrashed Gujarat 228, a good chase by Gujarat, fell short. And then you had Mumbai versus Punjab in that second qualifier. DJ, let's talk about that match really quickly, right? So Mumbai batted first, made 203 runs. Punjab was chasing. Started okay, right? But Prabh Simran and Priyansh, who you've relied on so much, this has been arguably a top-heavy side, just like Gujarat and a few others. 13 for 1, 55 for 2. And then Josh Inglis, who's looking really good, also got out. Shreyas Iyer, 87 of 41. But that scoreline doesn't quite do it justice, because he was batting fairly conservative until about 10 balls left in that innings. And then Nehal Vadera, who along with Naman Dheer, actually has probably been one of the finest middle lower order batters in this series. I mean, DJ, it feels like our memories are so short-lived because Shreyas has now lost the final. But what an absolutely magnificent performance to get his team into the final. Is that fair?
Yeah, it was outstanding. I think the internet was lit up by that ball from Bumrah, which was a Yorker, which like Shreyas played with quarter of a bat for
Which,
four.
by the way, have you seen that he did that exact thing to Bumrah? I think it was like 8 years ago.
Okay, okay. I haven't seen that piece.
Yeah,
but
there's a
man,
great clip of Bumrah bowling, a much younger Bumrah. Varun, you've probably seen it. Much younger Bumrah bowling a Yorker to Shreyas, and Shreyas just kind of hitting that sip shot. So he was prepared.
Yeah, I have seen it. I'm surprised DJ hasn't seen it because he's watching Shreyas at the Mumbai T20 League hitting reverse.
batting
So
left-handed,
DJ,
basically.
if after this podcast, just get on Insta. That one will come up very quickly on your algo.
Yeah, Shreyas Iyer, they play for Mumbai at Ranji level, right? So they probably come across each other a fair amount, generally domestically, or maybe not. Does Bumrah play for Gujarat? He must be playing for Gujarat, not Mumbai.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should probably know this, but I don't even know Bumrah's home state. I don't think he's played Ranji cricket. Because
Why would he, man? You have to wrap him in wool.
He
and
can't even play all the
protect him.
Test cricket he's been given these days. But I mean, that shot was incredible in a tournament where over 1,000 sixes have been hit. Lots of people were saying that was the shot of the tournament. But the extension of the arms, I mean, he just took those Mumbai bowlers apart towards the end. Every ball, like he knew where it was coming and it was going for six. He just kept extending the arms and the ball just kept going for six. He was really pissed. He gave us one of the moments of the IPL when he was really pissed with, I think, Shashank
That
saying.
was so good.
"So
And
get me
Shashank
the
has
ball."
since done another interview, by the way, where he said he should have yelled at me. He should have slapped me, is what Shashank said. And I said, "Good." Yeah, I think it was yesterday, but Shashank has said Shreyas should have slapped me.
Yeah, because Shashank did the interview saying, "Watch us, we'll be top of the table, and I'll come back on your podcast." And so Shashank's always welcome on our podcast to predict when Delhi's going to win. Um, but that was another moment of the IPL, and then it set up. It's fair, right? Like having the top two teams play the final. It's almost the right result in a way. And I'm sure somebody's done the stats on this, but there are very few teams I think that have won the IPL from being third and fourth. I'd expect because just the
Yeah.
grind of getting that extra game in, and I'm sure the match will be interesting to see as to how many teams have won the IPL after winning the playoff one or
Hmm.
qualifier one, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure that break that you get almost like half a week or a week time, I think it makes a big difference. So it did set up a grand finale against team one and team two on a Tuesday. So yeah, back to you.
Yeah, really well said. And I mean, just a phenomenal knock by Iyer. Varun, I saw a tweet that I could have sworn you wrote, which was that in 2024, Shreyas Iyer won the trophy for Veer. And in 2025, he came this close to winning it for Zara. And of course, that's that's a Shah Rukh Khan and Preeti Zinta reference. But
Okay, yeah, I
was
saw
that
that. I'm
That's pretty
surprised
good,
you guys saw
actually.
that. Yeah,
That's pretty good.
it's pretty good.
so? Of course, at this point, we're set back up for an RCB versus Punjab Kings final. RCB batting first. Varun, walk me through the knock, right? You said 190, a little bit lacking. Nobody really stood tall, right? Virat batted well, but was batting, man, at a powder run of ball. So it's one of those knocks where in hindsight won the match, great, exciting. But in that moment, not a great knock, right? Spare a thought for Arshdeep, by the way, Kyle, all of these guys bowled brilliantly. But going into the break at 190, what are you saying as I guess Rajat Patidar, but also Virat in the dressing room? What are you saying at 190? Do you really have hope? Do you think this is realistic, or are you just know that you got to go out and give it your best shot?
I mean, in the break, I was messaging my friend saying, the if I was in the dressing room, I would be saying the biggest man on the ground is pressure, right? And that's stolen from Justin Langer in the test
Yeah.
when they're playing the Headingley test where Ben Stokes takes them apart. But the biggest man on the ground is pressure, and 191, 10 runs short, 15 runs short in a final, you would probably say on par. And I think that's how I viewed it. That it's just that the situation, the circumstances, the arena, the stage, right? That is what I think they would have gone out and said. We are above par, is how I think they would have approached it in the dressing room. And that we've got, 4 overs of a Hazelwood, for example, is similar to what you talk of Bumrah. Now, it's not the same, but Hazelwood has been performing. So when you start thinking along those lines, I think they would have just been very, very positive out there. Also, don't forget they ripped Punjab in the previous time they
Yeah.
played together. So I just think they would have gone out with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, and so then DJ, talk me through that chase a little bit, right? Like, and let's start with Shreyas. Obviously, Prabhsim and Priyansh made some runs, etc. Shashank had more to do and fell short. And I do think, by the way, if you're just looking at a scorecard, Shashank's knock is a little bit misleading. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, just one hit short and this and that," but he hit 22 of the last four balls, and that's because Josh had the brief to just run in and not bowl it in. Like with four balls left, they were very clearly, if there's no balls or wides, uh, RCB win. So Josh, of course, Josh wouldn't have given the three sixes and a four in the last four balls. Let's be clear. But we spent so long talking about Shreyas. And then he comes out, and I'm going to call him a part-time bowler, but to Romario Shepherd gets out for one. I mean, this is what makes this game so hard. You can't show up and perform day after day, and that's what makes the great so great. But is it? I mean, yeah. How do you feel if you're Shreyas at this point? Got your team into the final, fist bump, gave all kinds of expletives to Shashank in the previous game that went viral, and then couldn't do it in the big moment, right?
Yeah, really difficult. I think he only had a couple of days, right, to recover, or maybe even one day to recover from that fabulous knock against Mumbai Indians. I think he said he only had 4 hours sleep. So from that high to come back down and to refocus yourself, do the press conferences where one guy says, "Oh, it's like any other game." One guy says it's like a final. There's mind games happening. He's also the captain. He's got to take care of all of that. So I mean, it also showed the over dependence on Shreyas in a way, right? Like he'd been fantastic throughout the tournament. Of course, you mentioned Nehal Vadera. He was really good, but he didn't really come good. And remember, Punjab have never won a tournament batting first, and RCB have never won a tournament batting second. So either way, this was going to be a first in some um, in some way for one of the teams. But it was kind of anticlimactic because they would have relied on Shreyas to come up with at least a 50. They had to win, right? When you look back at chasing 190, you want your number four, number five to chip in with decent scores. The Shashank knock is, I don't want to say it, but like it's been 15 minutes, 24 seconds. So I mentioned it's a bit of like an MSD knock, right? Like it looks great
I
on
actually
paper.
thought you would mention him when Varun said only one player has played for the same team for 18 years. You would have
He's
said
not.
Thala would have, if not
Would
for
have.
the team being banned.
Yeah,
He probably would have played for the same
he, he probably would have.
team.
Also, Thala didn't captain the second season at RPS. So the Super Giant really don't like their captain. So I'll look forward to welcoming Rishabh Pant back next year to Delhi.
But
But
there's a hot take if I've ever heard one. You think Rishabh not only is not captaining, but it's going to move back to Delhi next year?
there's going to be all kinds of chaos next
Yeah.
year. And also, I was like, if Punjab had won this, don't you remember the comment that Rishabh made after the auction saying, "Thank God, not Punjab."
That was
Oof.
terrible, man. Like, why would you say that?
I was
It
like,
was
dude,
just such bad taste.
Punjab was,
Regardless, by the way, regardless of the fact that they didn't win, they reached a final in LSG. Didn't
yeah.
even come close. So it doesn't
And they
matter.
beat
Like it's
Mumbai. It was
yeah.
great. Like anyway, so back to the air question. Really unfortunate that he didn't click, but that's it, right? Big match. You want your big players to step up and score those runs. And unlucky for Punjab fans, who I don't know very many of, but I know Rohan, who's been on the show before, he'd be pretty upset. Um, but yeah,
All right. Let's take a very quick break. When we come back, we will talk a little bit about the rest of the IPL and then preview what's coming next for Team India. And we'll do a full deep dive into our upcoming test series next time. But we'll take a very quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast. We're at One Tip One Hand on all the social medias. If you're on YouTube live right now, leave us a message or hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as always. Right, so Varun, we got to it a little bit. But talk to me about the whole reaction, right? It was less about the actual win as much as it was about camera pans to Anushka, Virat. Virat celebrates. Then, by the way, he makes what is an interesting comment in saying it's still 5 levels below Test cricket, which is an important comment in terms of like the youth and wanting to motivate young cricketers in India to still play Test cricket. But how did you feel all of that kind of went down at the end? And was it just that pure and unadulterated joy that you had thought? Was it more a relief than anything for Virat that he gets to fight? Like now he can hang up his boots in all formats. Not that he will, but now he could. But yeah, talk to me about those moments at the end.
Yeah, so it hot take here, but not true take here. I mean, I was when I was watching it, it felt like I was watching the Kohli show, and it was like him and this trophy, and it felt like he was singing "Tujh mein Rab Dikhta Hai" to the trophy.
The
Like
second Bollywood reference back
that
to
felt
back.
like that's the only thing that's going on. It was just Virat Kohli and the trophy, and there was everything else was a blur. Like it was just like confetti behind all these RCB players, everything. I've said it again. It was a one man show. Everyone just kind of came towards him and they were hugging him, and the camera was only on him. Nobody showed anything else.
Yeah.
When he was looking for Anushka, when he was looking for AB, when he ran to hug AB, when Gale came on with his pagdi, who by the way everyone was like, if Punjab had won, he would have just
but Gale is paid for Punjab also, right?
that's what I'm saying.
He
He
would have
would
just
have just
like
come
changed
like
his
that.
jersey and be like,
With his
yo, bro.
pagdi
That would have
and
been
so
amazing.
and then when Ravi Shastri came, how he ran to him like a child, and it was just a Virat Kohli show, man. And everyone in their speech was just like, "Yeah, we've done it for Virat," and it takes you back to 2011 where Virat is saying we've done it for Sachin. So occasion was not as big, but I think the lack of having a trophy for 18 years just made this so much more special. And yeah, I guess he
Yeah.
deserves it in some sense. Like he's been the true brand ambassador for Indian cricket. In fact, I was reading yesterday or today morning that two interesting things. One, I think the first time in many years no fans have showed up to the UK London airport, right? When the team has arrived, no fans have showed up. And the second thing I read is the ECB is actually lowering prices for the first test because nobody's going to.
Really?
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's just very interesting, and it shows you the power of Kohli. Like, can you imagine people are not buying tickets? I mean, DJ, I don't know if you're going for the first test, but I don't know where it is. But
It's in Headingley. It's not in
okay.
London. So.
So the first London test, if I don't know if you're going, but I know that if Kohli was there, you would have definitely been going. I wouldn't have.
No, no, I am going for the Lord's Test and the Oval
Yeah,
Test.
yeah.
But yeah, that's
I hope
interesting.
you didn't buy day 4 and 5. Like with the composition of this team, it may not last for. I listen.
No, they're going to have a long batting lineup, too. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Yeah, they will.
They
Shardul,
finish at
right?
8.
Shardul's going to score
They
a
finish at
century.
8. Shardul at 9.
Oh, gee. DJ, let me ask you. Yes, the King Kohli show. We often talk about, and Shreyas gets overlooked last year a little bit, which is absolutely unfair, but he does, right? KKR retained what a lot of people are calling the wrong year last year, for a large amount, or spent a large amount of money on him. Talk to me about Rajat Patidar, right? 312 runs this season, average of 24, strike rate of 140. Not his best season with the bat, nowhere close to it. And yet, I mean, captained a side that has struggled for 17 years under a variety of different captains. They've never made it. They've never lifted the trophy. And under Rajat Patidar, they did. I mean, how much kudos does he get? How much work is Virat still doing on the field? But not like, what's your read on Rajat?
I mean, yeah, at the moment, I think you're looking at the Kohli show in a way. And it's right as well for it to be the Kohli show, to get up every year after year, with the Chennai and Mumbai fans probably mocking you,
Yeah.
with your ESCN motto. It's hard. It's not easy to give everything on the field, have 3 finals where you've lost, get into a fourth final, finally win that one. Um, but Rapa, I mean, like when you look in the history book, in the end, who's the winning captain? It's going to be Rajat Patidar. It won't be Anil Kumble. It won't be Virat Kohli. It won't be Faf du Plessis, who was the captain, I think, last year. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that captained them that I can remember, but I don't think I can.
Maybe Vittori, but no, maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe Vittori definitely played for them, but I mean, Rapa just brought that little bit of calmness, that little bit. He's not a international T20 player. He did burst onto the scene in the T20 game, right, with that cracking 100 that he made 2 or 3 years ago. But he just brought that little bit of calmness. Let's not be mistaken. The break, um, unscheduled break in the middle of the IPL for the India-Pakistan tensions did help. This team, particularly, Rapa had an injury. He could play as an impact player. Hazelwood had a bit of a niggle. He came back. Obviously, they're all here for the World Test Championship final, which we will totally ignore because India's not playing, because that's the way it should be. No, but Rapa, I think, was good on the field. He played a couple of crucial knocks to win them games, but it was also getting the best out of all the other players. Also fed into the auction, right? So they seem to have a very good auction. They got someone like Krunal. So I mean, it's getting everybody to give off their best, and often it doesn't have to be your best player who's doing that. So Rapa's leadership, as you say, very underrated. But I mean, winning an IPL for a franchise which is as big as the RCB, I think kudos to him. Two more things. I think the Ahmedabad crowd that wept with Kohli, right, on the 19th of October 23.
Yeah.
Kind of nice to see them celebrating with Kohli. Um, Obviously, the World Cup is nothing to be compared with the IPL, but still, and then of course, shock and condolences for the people that were injured and lost their lives in that RCB celebration, which I mean, frankly, is pretty shocking, right? So it's not been a great week for the franchise from that front. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
also a somber note to the celebrations.
Yeah, really well said. It did definitely mar the celebrations a little, and as DJ said, our condolences for lost lives. I mean, just the last thing you want with anything to do with sport or celebration. So really disappointing and sad to see. Varun, as we wrap up kind of IPL conversation for 2025, where does where does Virat go from here? Right, like he's hung up his boots now in two of the three formats for Team India. He obviously hasn't said anything yet. Didn't really want to make a statement or anything. But do you expect Virat? Will Virat play for RCB in IPL 2026, or is this about as good a note as he can go off?
No, I mean he will definitely play for
Interesting.
RCB in IPL 26. I see another 3 to 5 years. I also saw a meme where they said, Virat Kohli didn't give up butter chicken to retire from Test at 36. So he's going to play. There's something more than like there's politics involved, in my opinion, for his Test retirement. Yes, he's not been performing. Nobody's doubting that, but I still think a team is better off with him. But either way, I think for me now the biggest question on Kohli is, can he get to 2027 October without Gautam Gambhir throwing him out of the ODI side? That
One
is
second.
the
Before
only
you get to
question.
ODIs, I want to just make sure I heard you right and repeat it for the record on camera. Is your hot take that Virat is not done in whites for Team India?
No, he's done in whites. I'm not happy that he's not done
No,
in
there are
whites.
people who are saying he may come back and unretire and all that. That's why I truly want to know your
He
point.
will not come back if
Okay.
Gambhir is there. So
If
that's my
India
hot
loses
take.
to England 5-0, Gambhir might lose his job and Virat maybe.
That one can only hope, my friend. One can only hope.
You are don't hope for an India 5-0 loss.
I mean, I hope that Virat Kohli comes back. If India has to lose 5-0, then for that to happen, then that's a
Oh.
that's a byproduct.
That's a hot take, and we are not going to preview the full Test series on this episode. DJ, do you agree? Do you disagree? Where's your head on all this?
Kohli's not coming back.
I don't
in
think
that.
he's coming.
No
I
chance.
I
There's no.
actually
I mean,
think
after the fanfare with which he's been seen off, there's no chance.
I actually think Kohli's done for IPL too. He's
Yeah.
going to wait a little bit, but he's going to retire, focus on ODIs
You don't
for a
think he's
little
going to
bit.
come back next year?
I don't think so. I might be wrong.
I think he'll come back. I
What
think
a
he's got
note
a
to leave
couple of
on,
years
man.
of IPL in him because it's
No
just been
way.
mega auction, right?
What did he
he'll-
want to?
he'll
But what
finish
does he
this
want
cycle.
to? He's done. He's been playing. He's played for 18 years, dude.
So
Doing the
has
same-
Thala. Why is Thala there? You
But Kohli did say
Yeah,
he's not going
you're
to play
asking
as
the right
impact player.
question on Thala for me.
No, but Thala's like what, 7 years older than Kohli.
Yeah, so maybe Kohli will be like, I want to be there for the fans and all that stuff.
No,
Yeah,
but
but Kohli
will
said
play
he's
in-
not going to do impact player. He's not. He was clear about that. Actually.
Yeah, what is your thought on
Just
that? By the way, that was a big
I mean,
dig at his
Kohli-
Rohit
Kohli's-
Sharma and his colleague, right?
Kohli's
Did you hear that,
fitter
Varun?
Yeah, but Kohli's fitter than most people are, like in their 20s.
That's what I'm saying. But he's fit enough to play T20s for India and Tests for India too.
Yeah, but T20s, I think his game was not keeping up with the pace of what a 21-year-old was doing for the game.
Or
And he was
14-year-old just did.
But how is
14,
that?
and
That's the same point for IPL, right?
IPL is 10 teams or 8, whatever number of teams,
Yeah.
and he's consistently hitting 500 plus, 600 plus runs. So he's not keeping anybody out. Like he's keeping Swastika or somebody out from RCB, which I don't think anybody really cares or wants to see him.
I mean, I don't. I would love to see him back. I feel like the record's sustained. I think he walks into the side. He's a phenomenal player. He scored over 600 runs yet again. I'm not sure he has the motivation anymore. That's my point. It's like this was it. Like he needed to get this trophy. It was the one thing missing. I think so. There's an element of like, does he have the drive to get back? Now maybe like Thala has done. He may come back and say, my fans want me. I do this for the fans. The energy that comes when I'm in the Chinnaswamy. Great, got it. Totally fair. It's not about whether he deserves it. It's just about is that drive and motivation still.
To be honest, the one thing missing for him is actually the World Test Championship.
Yeah.
And he's given that part up.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's missing from his trophy cabinet. If you think about it, he's got everything else that he could get. And the WTC is the only thing that's missing. So we won't talk about it.
All right, guys. Great IPL. Congratulations to Virat. We will see in the next 9 months, I guess it's 9 months away from restarting, whether he comes back or not. Very quickly, we're going to preview the India-England series next week. But Varun, let me just ask you.
I'm feeling a bit depressed because I wasn't even thinking that he would come back. Like,
I hope
crossed my mind. Like,
I hope I'm wrong, but what is like he's talked about wanting to spend more time with family, raising his 2 kids. It's like
so he's got 9.5 months of the year in London,
except for ODIs. Now he's going to play ODIs to try to stay fit till 27. It's
That's
just
what I was trying to say, that they're going to throw him out of ODIs. Anyway, it's a discussion for a longer day.
if he
They're gonna
doesn't
throw
play
him
in
out.
any format for India, I can see him saying, "Yeah, we'll go spend 3 months here in Bangalore and play the IPL, no question." But as long as he's trying to play ODIs, I'm not sure. Anyway, Varun, DJ, let's quickly talk about this India A versus England Lions. So it started so fast after the IPL. Many of the teams, the guys who were not playing in the final or in the playoffs even, flew pretty early. And it started with Karun Nair hitting a double, and everybody's minds exploded like, oh my gosh, he's back at this time. And then very quickly, India made 550 and England came in with 580, and you realized, okay, these guys are batting on a road. I think 9 guys crossed 50 runs in that match. 3 guys from England made centuries. So do you read much into that type of a knock, or on a pitch where everybody's making runs, is it less impactful that Karun made a double?
No, I don't think it is actually. I think
Interesting.
runs are runs, and I mean, the guy's got a triple hundred in Test cricket. He's got, I don't know, 800, 900 plus runs in the domestic season. He's got 8 centuries. I don't know. He had a cracking season. He's done his selection chances no harm whatsoever by putting on another double hundred. Who else got runs for India?
But one second. Tom Haynes made 171, Max Holden made 101, and Dan
But he's
Mosley
not
made
competing
113. These are not guys who are in the setup for
Yeah,
England.
but
He's not
Jaiswal made
competing with them for
24.
a
Yeah,
spot.
No, fair.
Jaiswal
I'm
made
just
24.
fair.
Iswaran made 8. Ritish Reddy made 7.
Yeah. He's not competing with Tom Haynes for a spot.
No,
He's
it's fair.
competing-
I'm just saying it was such a road that these guys got to bat on, which makes
So
Jaiswal
the
and Iswaran
great-
even worse.
Yeah. But that's the point. You can only do what you can do. You're given the bowling, you're given the pitch you're given, right? Like you're not choosing those bits. You've got to
Fair.
put the work in, and then you've got to show the runs. Like if it got 5 and he'd given it away, then you're discussing whether he's batting 4
Sure.
or 3 for India or 5 for India in the Test match, right? I actually think that knock is along with Rahul's knock in the other game. I think that's those are the two shining lights for me in that in the prep
Yeah.
piece. But Nair, man, like what a comeback if it's going
Incredible.
to be
Varun,
unbelievable.
KL Rahul flies into
Yeah.
England,
I mean,
116. I mean, he's trying to. I think he would have walked into the 11 anyway with the absence of Rohit and Kohli. Now there's no doubt, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt. He would have played anyway. He's just on this high, I think, coming off the IPL as ODI, his ODI form. And I feel lucky that KL Rahul is there actually in this Indian setup today, because I think Jaiswal it's going to be tough. Like, I think Jaiswal has the mental strength to fight it in England, but DJ said it as well, right? England is one of the hardest places to bat. And Jaiswal has not got that century in 4 innings that he's played. In fact, he's just got out in the second innings of the second game. So I think having KL Rahul there is great, and I do agree with DJ. I think Karun Nair and Gale are going to be the number 3 and 4 in whatever order they choose to do that. And personally, I think it's fair. Like, Karun Nair, reward him for what he's put in and the runs that he scored in the domestic season and here. So I personally don't think a Sai should walk in ahead.
And by the way, Jaiswal has been brilliant, but has played 19 tests. Gale, our new test captain, has played 32. We forget, but Rahul has played 58 tests, right? Like that experience, whether it's all been successful or not, that experience counts for a lot.
Yeah, and centuries in England. I mean, I think Gill's average in England is 14 or something. I was reading. Right? So it's fine. There's difference in captaincy, experience, batting, bowling. So everything needs to come together. But yes, I think we're lucky that Rahul is there. I think Jaiswal needs the mental strength to fight through, and I think Karun and Gale are going to be the 3 and 4.
The challenge with Rahul is that he just needs to maintain that form as he goes through the series, because he seems to have great starts to series and then it sort of falls away a little bit. He had 100 last time at Lords. Didn't really do first 2 test matches. Trent Bridge and Lords did it pretty well. Then kind of fell away a little bit. And then same with Australia, did well in the Perth test match, then kind of fell away a little bit. So he starts up looking really tight and like really focused, but I think a long test series really takes it out of Rahul. So for him, it'll be like, it's kind of like the Samsung challenge, right? Like how Sanju Samson starts off really strong and then fades away in an IPL. It's like a test version of that, but for KL.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to get deeper into all things India versus England in our next episode. But at the time of recording this, Rahul is batting, right? So we will find out. He's on 17 of 23 as I speak, but we'll find out if he can put up some runs in the second innings as well. That brings us to a wrap, guys. Varun, I know it's late for you, so go get some sleep. Congratulations to King Kohli and RCB and every RCB fan who has persisted with the team and the king for 17 and a half years until they got something to celebrate. That's the end of another IPL season. It's been great getting to relive and cover it with all of you guys. And before we know it, Test cricket is around the corner. So 5 matches against England. We are at one hand on all the socials. If you're on YouTube, leave us a comment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We read and try to respond to all the comments, and we'll be back next week. This is the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast, signing off.